If you don't know it already, making comics is really hard physically but also mentally. One of the best ways to stay motivated is having friends that understand exactly what you're struggling with because they're struggling with the same stuff. I'm going over a few ways to reach out to other creators and also how not to reach out to them. Hey, Walter here, doing what I can to make comics and webtoons easier because it shouldn't be overwhelming or daunting to tell your story. I got all them videos, so make sure you hit subscribe, sucker. All right, so where would I be without my friends? Well, I wouldn't be where I am today without the friends I've made along the way. I didn't mean to rhyme. They've kept me motivated, pushed me to be better, and they've let me vent. We've shared experiences and solutions, and we just in general lift each other up. Making friends with other creators is easy as simply reaching out to those creators you enjoy, respect, or are inspired by. And this can be as simple as a message saying, hey, I really dig your work, or sharing their social media posts, commenting on their comics, etc. But that isn't much of a conversation starter, and it can get lost in a pile. One of the best ways to get someone's attention is by doing fan art for their comic. This is instantly going to stick out from the crowd. We all know how hard it is to create art. So when someone spends their time and energy to draw one of our characters, it actually means a lot to us. And if you're a writer and you can't draw, you could always commission the artist to draw your character. Another great way to break the ice is by suggesting some kind of collaboration. This could be an art swap. You draw my character, I draw your character. Maybe a cameo of each other's characters in each other's comics, or maybe someone's just wearing a shirt with the comics logo on it. You could get multiple creators to join in and have each creator add their character to a big group shot poster or something. Get creative. The more exciting the project, the more enticing it's going to be for other creators. You could also join art communities like my Illustrati Discord that I co-founded with a group of other professional artists in an effort to help bring creators together and to share all this knowledge that we have. The Discord invite will be in the description below. Another great way to strike up a relationship is just to ask informed questions. Don't ask uninformed questions. I'm not trying to put anyone on blast here because I get accused of that pretty often. I don't mean to put anyone on blast. So if you've asked these questions before, don't worry. I've been asked these questions by a lot of people. So if you ask them, I'm sorry, but examples of uninformed questions are, how do I get better at art? How do I get more readers? How do I make comics? These are very broad questions, and there is no one answer. It would take an entire book to adequately cover all of these questions, and not something that I can or even want to try to summarize over a DM. A thoughtful and informed question is one that comes from personal experience. You've tried something or are trying something and it's not working like you want it to. You notice one of the creators you follow is doing the same thing and has the appearance of success. So reach out to them and ask them specifically for insight on that one particular thing. That is a conversation starter. An example, I was running a Kickstarter, and my now friend, who I didn't know at the time, was also running a Kickstarter. He was doing pretty awesome, and my campaign was lagging behind where I needed it to be. So I reached out to him to ask him a question. I didn't ask, how do you get more backers on Kickstarter? Because again, there's no one answer to that. I asked if he was using any type of social outreach program to help bring in new backers. Very similar questions, but one is coming from experience and the other is just a wild shot in the dark. The question you ask is going to set the general tone of the interaction. Is it two equals discussing their craft, or is it a student learning from a teacher? So both of our campaigns ended up being successful, and a few months later he was actually able to reach out to me to ask questions about printing and shipping books, because that is something I had just done myself and already figured out. And long story short, we're now friends. By the way, if anyone wants to ask me if I should use a social outreach program or how to print and ship books, I'm totally going to ignore those questions. Those are my questions. Stop copying my work. But this actually brings up the thing about what you shouldn't do, and I already mentioned about not asking uninformed questions. It's not too hard to come up with informed questions. It's just a matter of experience. If you're brand new to making comics, you probably won't be able to ask too many informed questions. because you haven't tried to figure out stuff on your own yet. Try to learn on your own. You're gonna fail a lot, but you're gonna start coming up with some really good questions. And you may actually find that you can find your own answers to those questions. The other thing you don't wanna do is make a big ask. You don't wanna reach out to a stranger and ask them to give you loads of their hard-earned knowledge and their precious time. Some examples, again, I'm not calling anyone out. If you've asked these questions before, don't feel bad. No one hates you. You didn't end up on some naughty list. You're just less likely to get a positive interaction or any interaction at all. So examples: read my comic, critique my comic, share my comic, draw my comic, back my Kickstarter. These require time and thought. I can't just click and share some random comic. I have to go check that comic out. I have to read it. I have to make sure it's not horrible, racist crap. And if I do share it, you know somebody else is gonna ask me to do the same thing for their comic, and it's just gonna be this continual repeating process. There is a time and a place for this kind of ask, but maybe don't ask it of a total stranger. It also helps to reach out to creators that are around the same part in their journey as you are. The example I used earlier, my friend, we had both previously released comics, we had been to conventions, we were kickstarting our new graphic novel at the same time. We were pretty spot on in our journey. We had a lot in common. We bonded over our problems that we had both experienced, and that was strengthened as we had to deal with new problems we could help each other solve. There was a balance in the share of information. Could I reach out to someone who was at the top of the mountain, knew everything, and could really help me achieve the next level? Sure. But is it worth their time to help me? Plus, if they help me, then they're gonna have to end up helping everybody, and they just can't do that. And that starts getting into a teacher-student mentorship realm, which is very unbalanced. There's a lot of taking, not very much giving, so that needs to be balanced out by like money or internships or whatever. And I also mentioned at the start, you should reach out to creators you respect, enjoy, or are inspired by, and this is really important. Don't just reach out to creators because you think they can propel you to the next level. Making these friendships I'm talking about shouldn't be about being a parasite and using someone else's knowledge, skills, connections to try to take a shortcut. One, I don't think that's gonna work, and two, it's just kind of gross. The relationships should be honest and true, you know, like real actual friendships that they kind of talk about in the movies. A final tip: not everyone you reach out to is going to be interested in what you're selling. Maybe they're antisocial, or maybe they're just busy, but don't let that deter you from reaching out to other people. Don't hyper-focus on any single creator. Broaden your horizons. Also, be on the lookout for other creators reaching out to you. Did you dig this video? Make sure to hit the like button and sub if you haven't already. And if you want to help support this channel, consider buying me a cup of coffee on my new Ko-fi page so I can stay awake and edit all of these videos. And if you want to just keep making comics easier, be sure to like, link, love, hug, and hit that sub button for more sweet, sweet goodness. Catch you in the next episode. Peace.